A US official has claimed that Washington secretly shipped long-range missiles to Ukraine in recent weeks. The Army Tactical Missile Systems, or the ATACMS, were used by Kyiv for the first time last week. Now, the missiles were a part of Ukraine's military aid package worth $300 million. The shipment was approved by Joe Biden on March 12th after a meeting with his national security team in mid-February. The number of missiles sent is not clear yet. Officials claim the missiles were used in an attack against a Russian airfield in Crimea on April 17th. The airfield is located about 165 kilometers from the Ukrainian front lines. The US has been mulling over the idea of supplying the long-range missiles for months now. It was primarily due to two reasons. First, the US was concerned that supplying long-range missiles to Kyiv could affect its own stockpile. And second, it was feared that Ukraine could use missiles inside the Russian territory. But few reasons led to a change in Washington's stance. This included Russia's use of the North Korean long-range ballistic missiles against Ukraine in December, and its continued attack on Ukraine's energy infrastructure. Additionally, the US military began acquiring new missiles from Lockheed Martin in January, which prompted its decision as well. Now, the ATACMS are surface-to-surface ballistic missiles developed in the United States. They boast a range of 300 kilometers. These can travel considerably faster, than the British and the French cruise missiles currently in Ukraine's armory. Ukraine has been urging the US for these missiles to thwart Russia's growing aerial attacks. Mid-range ATACMS were supplied by the US to Ukraine in September last year. Now, the report comes at a time when the US President Joe Biden signed a law authorizing aid for Ukraine, Israel and Taiwan. The package includes aid worth $65 billion for Ukraine, which is facing setbacks on the battlefield. And for more on this, our correspondent Susan Tehrani has sent us this report from New York. Listen in.
The Russians are likely to respond negatively to the news that the United States provided Ukraine with long-range missiles. The move, after all, marks a significant shift in Western support for Ukraine, as it had previously been hesitant to provide Ukraine with long-range weaponry. Whether to send these Army Tactical Missile Systems, ATACMS, with a range of up to 300 kilometers was a subject of debate within the Biden administration for months. Now, mid-range missiles were supplied last September, but the Pentagon initially opposed sending these long-range missiles, fearing on the one hand the loss of missiles from American stockpiles and the fact that it would hurt U.S. military readiness, but also they were concerned that Ukraine would use them to attack targets deep inside Russia. The decision to provide Ukraine with these long-range missiles is likely to be seen as a major escalation by Russia and could lead to further retaliation from Moscow as well. Susan Tehrani reporting from New York for WION World is One.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.